into the low 20s again and mid-40s for Tuesday. Eyeing possibly another system that could be wintry by the weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Spotless cleaning. How can we make your day spotless? Yes, we make not just toilets spotless, but also counters, cabinets, and kitchens. We make your whole house, your whole day spotless. My grandparents taught me the details, not the things, make your home and your life luxurious. Yes, they raised me in Brazil. And that's why we will never charge you extra for base sports. Let me help you be a diva a few hours a week. SpotlessCleaningNC.com.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah! You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. I am coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located in Birkdale Village and also in Denver on Highway 16. Go on by there, and your first cigar is on Joe. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC, 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone, and you are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We have been going strong for over 12 years. We're rolling up to 13 years. We have well over 979 interviews that we have done. We are rubbing right up to 1,000. I'm going to expect some kind of like cupcake or something when we get to 1,000, Superstar, just to let you know that. We have well over 800 videos on the interviews that we have done over the years. Go to the Joe Vagnone Business Broker, again, Joe Vagnone Business Broker YouTube channel, and please subscribe. It really has a lot of good information, and what you'll find intriguing is because we have so many videos, we are going back and creating what we call these vintage shorts. I bet, Superstar, you didn't even know I knew what a short was, did you? I know what a short is. I know. Anyway, so you can kind of get these quick clips on concepts or thoughts that somebody has come up with over the years. So again, go to Joe Vagnone Business Broker, Joe Vagnone Business Broker on YouTube, and subscribe. I certainly would appreciate that. We are live in the book, live on the tubes, live on the X, live on the chain. If you don't know Joe Talk, that is Facebook, YouTube, X, and LinkedIn. We're also wherever your podcast is, and Julie is monitoring and keeping up with the show on WSIC website. If you haven't heard it before, Julie's been with me well over 10 years because everybody needs a Julie. And I want you to know that you are listening to the #1 live talk business show where your business matters. And so, something's been happening. It's funny, my next guest was asking me, hey, how's business going? And I probably overloaded him with more than he wanted. Little did he know I was going to talk about my industry. I don't talk on this radio show much about my industry and the fact that I'm a business broker. The truth is, the show is for and about the guests, and I like to give them as much time as I can. Today, I felt it was interesting because the market is changing and it's a challenging time. Julie is literally one of, if not the top, we call client managers, and does all of the what we would call onboarding of new clients and also all of the marketing and receives all the inquiries of the businesses. And I sent her an email this morning. I said, it has been or feels like it's been the slowest January of inquiries for our businesses. Now, remember, when I talk to you about my experience, I'm talking to you about my experience as a broker that specializes in small businesses from about $4 million in gross sales on down. And so it's important that you keep that in perspective when you hear Joe give an opinion. So I asked Julie exactly what was going on. I asked her to do some research for me to find out exactly what was happening. And lo and behold, we did find that what we're feeling and seeing is in fact happening. It seems as though buyers, financially qualified buyers, are active, but they're more selective. They are considering value, or what we're titling value-focused buyers, and the risk factor or the calculated risk of the buyer has become much more sensitive than in prior Januaries. Now, the reason why I asked Julie about this January is because for us, normally the first quarter, January, February, are really pretty good. We get a lot of inquiries. A couple things happen after Christmas and the New Year. You want to lose weight or you might want to buy a business. They kind of go hand in hand. And so that's why I asked Julie about that. So sure enough, the buyers have gotten, quote, more sensitive. And because of that, I asked Julie what she thought was a good thing to do. And she said, well, you probably have to make sure that the buyers are more prepared because the sellers are more prepared because the buyers are more skilled, seasoned, and they are risk adverse, which means what they're looking at and looking for certainly makes a difference. And so because of that, I thought, okay, let me see what I can do. And I put together what I believe to be 10 things buyers are looking for. And I thought I'd go through those. I thought it'd be an interesting process to go through. Yes, I did ask the Terminator to help me, but these are my thoughts with the Terminator giving some details on this. And what I wanted to do is kind of let people that are thinking about selling a business know these are some things that buyers are really looking for. So let's start going through them and see if I can't give you just a little education on what buyers are looking for from a seller's perspective, because that's really important here. As you're considering selling your business, here's some things that buyers are really looking at. Are we ready? So let's get started. Top 10 buyer, let's call them priorities, right? Number one, they want consistent, verifiable cash flow. That comes in the form of number two, clean, organized, understandable financial records. Those two go hand in hand. They want to see the consistency, and they want to see that in financial records. And I promise you, if you think, and this happens to some of my clients, they say, well, let me just get in front of them and we'll go, and I could talk to them and I could explain to them why I was down 30% from last year. You could talk to you blue in the face. It's still 30% reduction. And so cash flow is really important, and clean financial records is important. The next one is a strong, diversified customer base, meaning you can't just have two clients. You've got to have a few more clients. So I'm going to take a break. We'll come back. We're going to get the rest of them. Number one, cash flow. Number two, financial records. Number three, customer base. Let's take a break, and we'll come back, and we'll keep talking about the top 10 buyer priorities, because you are listening to the number one live talk business show in North Carolina, giving you some broker information from the number one business broker in North Carolina. Please hear the word small business broker. There's a lot of great brokers out there. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll be right back. So, Scott, normally I don't do this. Normally I will have a co-host and give them the half hour.
Yeah.
But our co-host got sick. It's so I'm filling in with this.
The details.
So it's rare that I talk about my business. We good? So it's rare that I talk about my business like this. But it's helpful, you know, it works.
I'm trying to think of who was co-host. Dynamic young guy.
Here's your
That is
WSIC
Chris Villani?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, one of my favorite people.
Yeah. Yeah.
What we do in December, we bring back all of the co-hosts
Yeah.
over the year, and
Yeah.
Chris is here every year. So yeah, I just adore Chris. Yeah.
Players present Shakespeare's The Winter's Tale, a powerful story of jealousy, forgiveness, and redemption.
After you have a conversation with Chris, you're like ready to go do something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to run a marathon.
Yeah. He's a high energy guy. That's
Yeah.
Ticket info and more at Davidson Community Players.
That's probably the best thing about this show. I get to meet people like you. I get to meet people like you starting the business. I got to meet people like you that have built it up. You know, so things like that don't happen often in business because you normally just meet somebody wherever they're at that moment. So this show, because we've been doing it for so long, we get that. So I've watched Chris sort of reinvent himself
all
over
over
the
time.
years. Yeah.
That's part of it.
It is. It is. It really is. Yeah, I mean, if you'd have told me I've been doing this show for over 13 years, I'd say, are you kidding me? You know, I mean, I was pretty sure they'd stop me after 5 or 6 shows. You know?
Did you ever think 20 years ago you were going to be a radio show
No,
host?
are you kidding me? Absolutely not. And listen, I'm pretty sure they'd love to get rid of me. They just can't find it. Once they find somebody, Joe's gone. I promise you that. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
See incredible work from local
And I'll accept it and move on.
I hear you.
I get it.
At some point.
I'm sure there's plenty out there better, Scott. They just haven't found them yet.
We're all expendable at some point. That's for sure.
to learn more about this exhibition and other arts offerings.
Here we go.
arts.org.
Superstar, you stay out of this. He got his nickname because I told him the only way you can get nickname is do something wrong. He hasn't done anything wrong yet. So he gets the nickname Superstar. I hate that he got the nickname Superstar. He's proud of it because he has yet to mess up yet. You know?
I feel like you're going to get another one before too long.
He beats his chest with his nickname, you understand? Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. And we hope to inform, inspire, and entertain you today. I'm doing that today by talking a little bit about my primary business, which is business brokerage. I help people buy and sell small businesses from about 4 million gross sales on down. I am literally one of, if not the, probably really hard to measure, which is why I have to say one of, but Julie and I believe we are the top small business brokers in North Carolina. And so when I'm talking to you about, please hear me say small, which is about 4 million gross sales on down. There are some exceptional, skilled, seasoned brokers, including my partner that we have an affiliation with, Inline Business Broker out of Raleigh, and deals in much larger businesses. And so keep in mind, we are talking about small business here. So I've got down 10 buyer priorities. So I've given you cash flow, I've given you financial records, I've also given you customer base diversification. Julia's got these on WSIC Facebook, so you can go there and she's keeping track of that. Number 4, this is so important. Proven systems and processes. And I'm telling you, those systems and processes don't happen unless you are absolutely experienced, skilled, and capable. It's one of the reasons people buy franchises, because those things are already in place and they protect the success moving forward, and they also help hold the value of the business. So when you hear systems and processes, a lot of independents say, oh, man, I don't need that. I just do that myself. Exactly. And when you sell, who's going to do it? And so the systems and processes are really important, so keep that in mind. Number 5, a team that can support the transition, which means if you cannot take A 30-day vacation. I did say 30 days. A 30-day vacation. Maybe a phone call catch up once a week is okay. But if you can't do that, you've created a great job. You have not created a business that a buyer wants to pay top dollar for. Now, remember, I just told you at the beginning of this segment that buyers are calculating the risk. The risk that their business will run without you unless you can prove it to them is too great. So they're not going to pay you top dollar. You got to be able to take a 30-day break from your business. So your team will be able to support that. I'll tell you, when I first heard this years ago, I used to say, no way can I leave for 30 days. But let me tell you what happened when I stepped away from the business. Now, just so you all know this, I didn't go to the Bahamas. I took 30 days to focus on another business that I bought right and focused on. But that's beside the point. The point that I'm making is that 30 days that I was gone from the business, my people grew. They matured, they seasoned, they became problem solvers. And in fact, it's exactly what I needed to know, who could and who did. And the cream kind of rises to the top. That exercise is very important to you. So your team has to be able to support a transition. Number 6, realistic growth potential and scalability. Let me tell you something. Most people don't even understand what this means because you can't just say, I know there's a bunch of new customers out there you can go get. Show me. Prove it to me. Tell me your systems and your processes that actually work. What is a good lead generation system you put in place that actually works? If I do this, if I spend this, if I say this, I will get a customer that's interested in my business. That's what this is talking about. And can you do it to a point that you can get larger? Here's why you have to be able to scale the business. Because whoever buys this business, nobody is going to write you a check unless they think they can do something better than you. Let me say that again. Nobody's going to write you a check for your business unless they think they can do something better than you. And you have to hand them the roadmap. That's where this potential scalability really comes in. And so, okay, so it's cash flow, number 1. Financial records, number 2. Customer base, number 3. Systems and processes, number 4. Number 5, support the transition team. You've got to have a group of people that you can believe in and that the buyer believes in. Realistic growth, potential, and scalability. It's very important. What is the upside? Why? And how? It's really important. Number 7, low legal compliance or operating risk. Honestly, the high technical businesses can get a really good multiple, but if it's heavy with legal and compliance, honestly, the amount of people willing to put up with that or that even know how to deal with it are so low that you end up, even though you can maximize the value of the business, you're dealing with one of the highest level sophisticated buyers, which means normally the deal structure is something that is much harder to get approved and it takes longer to actually make happen. So you want to make sure that you've addressed these legal and compliance issues in a simplistic way. If you do have a technical business, make sure you got an attorney and make sure you also have accountants and you have people that are literally, they can be third party, they don't have to be on staff, that literally you're going to hand over during the transition. They stay with the company. You will have them have conversations with the buyer and they will make them feel much more comfortable because you're handing, consider it part of your transition team. You're handing these people over to them, telling them they're going to do for the buyer exactly what they were doing for you. That transition team is as important as the operations. So compliance and legal, very important. Insurance would fall into that category as well. Number 8, transferable brand and relationship. We're getting ready to talk to a guest in the next half hour, but I must tell you something. That's where franchising really comes into play because they've already done that. They've already created the brand, and they've already created these relationships moving forward. Because a lot of times what happens with these independents, the brand is the person. You know, Joe Vagnone's the finest and biggest and best and most wonderful broker in the whole world. Now I want to sell my business. Who's going to buy it? Because Joe's going to be at the beach or in the mountains, right? And so without Joe, the business doesn't have the same value. Is that happening for you? Because if it is, you haven't built a business, you've built a job. Fine job, but it's still just a business, and it absolutely will be minimized in value, minimized in revenue, and minimized in interest from a buyer if you can't create and transfer the brand and the relationships. If Julie doesn't go, if I try and sell the business, what do I got to sell? It's got to transfer, right? If my database can't be transferred to the buyer, what do I got to sell? All of these things, my automated system that I put together and fought with Julie on over the years to make work, the website. If you can't transfer those things, what's the buyer buying? So that's number 8. So number 9, favorable lease and asset condition. Everything's got to be in good shape. There's no question about that. Listen, Julie and I just sold a couple of restaurants, great restaurants. We really like breakfast and lunch kind of restaurants. And the second or third question is, give me a list of the assets. And here's the thing. It's not the value of the grill that matters. It's the condition of it. That grill could be 40 years old, but long as it's in good condition and good repair, which, by the way, same thing with number 7, compliance and legal. If you've got a good repair guy that comes by and keeps an eye on your assets, those assets and the condition of them are very important to a buyer because they don't want to, quote, surprise. Every buyer says, I don't want a surprise. Well, guess what? Surprise, surprise. Small business is full of surprises. But what you can do is help them figure out what they're going to do if the surprise happens. And number 10, top 10 buyer priorities is reasonable pricing and deal structure. Listen, that's probably for an entire another day how we value a small business. But I'm telling you, buyers right now today, they want to make sure it's a fair, reasonable price. I wrote an entire book. Did I bring the book? Yep, I bought my book. I wrote this book. I don't even know if any of you know this. I wrote this book, So You Want to Buy a Small Business, over 10 years ago. And so I brought it because I'm pretty sure most of you didn't know that I wrote a book on how to buy a small business. But the premise of the entire book, this was 10 years ago. The price isn't as important as the deal structure. The structure of the deal is more important to a buyer, and we can maximize the value by doing that. And that's what this is saying. So it's number 10 on the list, and it's been the same I've been doing this over 30 years. It's certainly the same since I wrote that book, and I'm sure there's a lot of things in the book might be out there. Probably time for me to get a new edition, but it's still true today, which is reasonable price is good, but the deal structure really means a lot. And so those are the top 10 things. Again, cash flow, financial records, customer base, systems and processes, support transition team, potential growth and scalability, operational risk, brand and relationships, asset condition and lease conditions are very important. And the last one is a reasonable price with detailed a good deal structure. And so those are the top 10. You can get those on WSIC Facebook website. Julie's put them down there. I'm going to give you a bonus point here, which is what buyers are looking for. They're really looking for overall multimedia balance of the brand. They want to see the brand happening in multiple places, growing in different places, because they might be more skilled at one area than another, and that makes the brand more valuable because they think they can do something with it. Why? Remember, nobody's going to write you a check unless they think they can do something better. So if the branding gives them options, they'll figure out a way to create value. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to a man who's done just that through a franchise, and I think you will find that there is no place better to learn how to sell a business and operate a business than Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll be right back. I really did write this book 10 years ago. I'm getting old. I'm really, Lightbulb, would you like this book? I'll sign it for you. I'll even give you a signature. We'll be right back. Light bulb said, "Nah, that's okay, man." Nah, I don't really need it. That's all right.
Looks like it's a quick read.
Oh, it's definitely quick.
Yeah.
You'll be done with it in 20 minutes.
It's not a 700-page tome, right?
My wife laughed at me about this book because I don't know if you notice this. That's a hardcover.
Yeah.
We ain't playing around here. That's a hardcover book we got here. My wife said, "You really put it in a hardcover?" Oh, fine. Okay. So Scott, when we come back, it's all you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey, Superstar, how'd that go? Was that okay? That top 10, did that work for you? Was it too fast? I just made it. Okay. Okay. I mean, I didn't see you timing me or nothing. I didn't see you pushing me and that sort of stuff. Unlike you've done in the past, hurry up, hurry up.
Where did you
Too good to be
I'm
true.
sorry.
It
Put that
usually
through
is.
Amazon.
Hang up, don't click that link, and never share personal information with
That's all yours, buddy.
Oh, I'm just.
I got
was just curious.
20 of these at home.
Hey, I'll take it.
It's yours. It's yours. It's 10 years old. That was before I knew about the Google. You understand?
But did you sell it through Amazon or any of the other?
Honey, can you
Yeah,
turn
retail.
that
yeah,
down?
yeah. Julie actually put my book on Amazon on Facebook, so somebody could go there and click on it and buy it. I actually have that because I bought it from Amazon because I wanted to see how the process still worked after 10 years.
Okay.
So that's how that's why that book is, and it was on my mind. So yeah, I was curious because you're right at 10 years, and I'm thinking, how are they doing that? I know Amazon's not going to have a shelf of Joe's books in there because I'm pretty sure I'm the best customer ever bought that book.
Well, I'll tell you, here's the reality, though. I guarantee you, it hadn't changed in 10
Right,
years.
right.
I mean, the fundamentals are still the fundamentals.
No, you're right. You're right. There are certainly some additions I would add to how tactically to do certain stuff.
Yeah.
Right, but buying a business, absolutely. It's still the core. Well, that reminds me, my brother went to college and studied marketing, and he said, everything has changed about marketing, everything. But the core principles are the same. How we would implement them is completely different, right? I love telling people I was a master at marketing back when I started opening my restaurants, and I had sandwich shops inside office buildings, right?
Yeah.
And my master marketing plan was a flyer that I'd print up that says, "Where you going to go when you want a sloppy Joe's place?" And I'd slide it under the office door. That's my masterful, but it would pack the restaurant, you understand?
Hey, some basic tactics are the best, No doubt about it.
I dare somebody to pack the restaurants easier and cheaper than. Oh, my.
No, it's good. I appreciate that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. I am Joe Vagnone, where we hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC, 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. This is where your business matters. It's one of the favorite things I do about this show, and I've been doing it for so long. I get a chance to re-interview people that I've met years ago. This gentleman came here with a brand new franchise that I had never heard of many years ago, 3-4 years ago, and he swore to me he was going to set the world on fire, and he hadn't even opened up his first business yet. You can imagine how many times in my world I hear that, right? And now Scott Thayer is here. He's a managing partner of FYZICAL, that's FYZICAL, of Charlotte. And also we're going to talk about it, Greensboro, South Carolina. It is a physical therapy business. quote, and balance center. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But Scott, when I first met you, you had no operations. I went on your website. I counted 11. How am I doing?
No, you're right. You're right.
How
there,
you
Joe.
doing?
Well, it's been a terrific experience. It's been a learning experience. My business partner and I both are former corporate guys, 25, 30 years of experience who wanted to get out of that rat race and do something that brought value to where we live and play. And, we thought this was a terrific opportunity when you take a look at the demographics of our country and the fact that by the year 2050, we're going to have 82 million people over the age of 65.
Right.
So our core focus. Now we do everything physical therapy related. So you talk about hip replacements and rehab. We do all that. We do it all very well. Our differentiator though is in the balance and vestibular health space.
See, so you just took away my number 2 question.
Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself here, Joe.
You are. So again, physical therapy and balance center.
Yes.
Last time we were here, I don't think we even talked about balance, right? I didn't understand it, and I did a little bit of research before we came on the show today. That's a big part of what you guys do.
Yeah, it's a huge
Talk
part.
about that, because honestly, I would not have known that was a thing, right?
Yeah, no. So balance or imbalance, if you will, particularly with senior adults, is just a growing challenge, within the healthcare system. And like I mentioned, with the demographics continuing to skew older in our country, it's just going to become a bigger problem over time. So we have a proprietary manner in which we treat those conditions. And when I talk balance and vestibular health, vestibular health is really anything that's in between the ears.
Right.
So it's dizziness, it's vertigo, crystals in your ears that drive those types of things. We have a unique way of treating those.
You didn't know those things 3 years ago. You know that,
you
don't you?
you know what? You're right. Not nearly as much as I do now. That's for sure.
You've gotten a lot better at this. That brings me to my next question. You're not a therapist.
No.
You are a business guy, and I was going to ask you, how has that been? Because that's the fear I have with, say, selling a franchise to somebody that doesn't know the industry. You've got to hire people to do the actual work. Talk a little bit about that, because you got to be a good business person to do that while you are learning. I get it now. You figured it out, right? I understand that. But when you got started, you didn't know those things. Walk me through, and somebody that might be thinking about doing that, that's got to be a tightrope for a while.
It's a great question, because at the end of the day, our clinical team, they're the ones who get the magic done.
Right.
So, and we see it every day, the impact that they make in people's lives. Every day, it's so rewarding. But they're typically, they're caretakers. They don't understand the business side of it.
That's right.
They don't understand that we've got to have a full day of patients, to pay the bills and pay salaries and everything else. So it's really a blending, of recognizing their skills and the value that they bring to our operation, and then also teaching the business component of it. How we have to, what we have
so
to
they
do.
accept what happens in the operational side.
Exactly. Yeah. So it takes a little time. It took a little bit of time to kind of find that blend.
So when I read, it's physical therapy and balance centers. So I guess the customer comes to you. You don't go to their home. Is that correct?
Well, so 2 things. Number one, we don't go to their home. They do come to our outpatient physical therapy facilities. We source patients really through two primary manners. First of all, and the bulk of it is through physician referrals.
Right.
So we have a primary care physician who sees a patient. They have shoulder pain. They send them to us, and we develop a plan of care. We communicate back to the primary care physician exactly what we're doing, so there's continuity. But that's the primary way. Now, in North Carolina and South Carolina both, these are direct access states, which means that a patient can take control of their own well-being, and if they feel that they need physical therapy, they can call us directly and say, "Hey, I've got lower back pain. I need some help. Do you think you can help me?"
Right.
So we set an appointment. We do the evaluation. Then we get in contact with their primary care physician and take the ball forward from there.
So I only know about your business because my mother's gotten older. She got sick in the hospital for about a month and a half, and we realized she couldn't walk up a step. She couldn't get into the van to take her back to, it was a big problem.
Yeah.
And it took about 3 weeks of therapy. And what it did was give my mom her what's the word I'm looking for? The dignity to be on her own. Because she would not want Joe to help her get up.
Yeah.
She'd prefer to stay where she was. Right. That's all right. I'm just going to stay. Now that she can do it herself, okay, honey, I'll go to lunch with you.
Well,
so it changes lives. It really does.
Yeah, Joe, I would tell you that, there's a fact, a detail out there that says 50% of older adults who actually have fallen over the course of the year don't share that information with their primary care physician. So it's a threat. It threatens their independence, threatens their dignity.
Right.
And we're trying to break that cycle because it doesn't have to be an inevitable part of growing old.
So my family is mad at me. I call my mom, once or twice a week.
Yeah.
I called her. This is a year and a half ago, right? Before we knew we had a problem, right? And I talked to her for 45 minutes on the phone, right? It's probably the longest I've talked to her at one single time. I got off the phone, and probably 4 hours later, my sister calls. What is wrong with you? I said, what are you talking about? You talked to Mom for over an hour, and she was sitting on the floor and could not get up. I said, Nikki, she never said a word to, not one. We had a most pleasant conversation for 45 minutes, but she would not tell me I had fallen, and I cannot literally, because her legs weren't strong enough, to get back up again. So this is real.
It's real, and it's a growing
her own
issue.
son, she couldn't say, "Honey, I'm sitting here. Could you just come over, and help me get into the bed or to the chair?" She was not going to do it.
Yeah, and it's senior adults. It's the number one non-fatal and fatal injury, within the senior community. A fall, whether it's being sent to the ER. And in some cases, unfortunately, it's a fatal occurrence.
Right. So, well, that was kind of our wake up call. Okay, we got a problem,
Yeah.
So we only got a minute.
Yeah.
Since the last time we talked, I'm sorry, I forgot your partner's name.
Robert Hubb.
Robert.
Yes.
Has it been what you guys thought it would be? Like, because you are two guys that, like, this is the American dream, right?
Yeah.
You dropped out from the man and you decided to buy a franchise and develop an entire territory.
Yeah.
Has it been what you thought it would be?
The satisfaction that we get from helping patients has just blown our minds.
Right.
The bureaucracy of the healthcare system and the insurance payer system, that's been a learning experience.
So let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about the business side of that, right? Because growing it can't be easy. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. I'm here with Scott Thayer. He's the managing partner of a spectacular franchise, FYZICAL.com. We'll be right back.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
Say what?
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of you on it.
Well, our sun
That's all
shines back, but it's a cold start to the new week.
Well,
Looks like it's going to hang around for a while.
last couple of
Sunshine,
weeks,
but mid-40s
just for some reason or another,
afternoon. We'll get
I've had a
cold
lot
again,
of
temperatures
repeat,
fall into the low
you know,
20s again.
interviewed almost 1,000 people.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. It's got to
Lake
be.
Norman's kind of a small place.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's catching up with me. So like it's kind of like, well, I've already asked him everything. So now I asked the Terminator to ask the question, and it opens up a whole
Yeah,
bunch of
yeah.
different approaches to the experience. So I did that for you. So I've got 20 questions
Good,
that I can
good.
throw in at any time, so
Yeah.
we can take the conversation any way you want to go, or I'll ask the Terminator for something. Is there something specific you want to talk about? I want to make sure we dig into it at
The
all.
only thing that we are literally in the midst of adding a complimentary service, Lake Norman area and throughout Charlotte around concussion. It's a natural offshoot of our vestibular health. How we manage that. We just brought in somebody from Ortho Carolina to head that up for us, expert in the area. We're working with, I can't say who it is right now, major education
Right.
here in the area to partner with them on it. And we're in discussions with neurological groups in the area to really deliver a consistent concussion management.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'll just speak to it for 20
Okay.
seconds. But yeah, I'm other than that, I'm
annual winter juried exhibition.
whatever
January
you want to
20th
ask.
through February 26th at the historic train depot in downtown Mooresville. See incredible work from local and regional artists judged by Marissa Pascucci, gallery and collection coordinator from Davidson College. Don't miss
I
the
sure
artist
wish Superstar would
reception
do
on
something
Friday,
wrong.
January 23rd,
I'd like to
6
give him a new
8
nickname.
p.m. To learn more about this exhibition and other arts offerings,
He's saying it's not going to happen.
arts.org.
I've been thinking of
Wishful
something.
thinking.
Beanhead. I've been thinking of some new names. I mean, I've been just in case.
That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997,
Julie's got your website on WSIC
caring,
Great.
Facebook.
experienced
Perfect.
legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
12 years of conversation.
I'll put this out on our socials as well, and put a nice blurb in for the show.
And we'll create a short with the show and say
Okay.
that. Yeah. You're listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and this is Local Biz Now, where your business happens. This is the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, and I am here with my friend, whether he will admit it or not, Scott Thayer. He's a managing partner of an exceptional franchise, FYZICAL. Oh, you got a little clap and everything. Superstar trying to step it up for you, Scott.
Thanks, Superstar.
FYZICAL, FYZICAL. And Julie's got that on WSIC website as well. You're in Charlotte, and I noticed you have expanded to South Carolina. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I mean, we focused Lake Norman area first, and then expanded into the Charlotte market. We now have 11 in the Charlotte metro area, and then about a year and a half ago, we had an opportunity to move into the Greenville, South Carolina market with FYZICAL, and terrific area, a lot like Charlotte, probably 10 or 15 years ago. And we just couldn't walk away from the opportunity. Great people. We've got a terrific team down there, and we actually own and operate 2 clinics down there now as well. So
before we went to the break, I asked you if you and your partner were, if this was working out like you wanted to, right? And you alluded to some of the challenges.
Yeah.
Would you do something different? I mean, if there's somebody out there listening right now thinking about getting into a business, whether it's a franchise or something, what advice would you give them that you wish you knew back then?
So we did our due diligence with other owners of the business. We talked to probably 14 or 15 different franchisees. So we thought we understood how the business worked. A couple of really complex parts of the business, though, looking back, I wish we had more insight on how long it was going to take to get credentialed with insurance payers. There are always going to be some little bumps in the road.
How did you deal? I know a little bit about that. My sister's a therapist.
Yep.
So how did you deal with that? Was you probably had these locations ready to go, and people needed to pay through insurance. How did you make that happen until you could get the insurance up and running?
Well, to be honest with you, until we were credentialed, it took us almost 9 months to get credentialed with Blue Cross Blue Shield. So as we were scaling the business, we did some. We did some free physical therapy work because we didn't want to damage our reputation with the physician network in the long term. By saying that we're not credentialed with that payer, so we can't see your patients. So we invested in that in the short term, and as we opened up additional clinics, we started quite a bit earlier. In the credentialing process. And we've got a pretty good system now for,
because once you get it up and rolling, and they trust you, it's just the new that it is a challenge.
Yeah, so that was the biggest challenge. But, we were able to overcome it. We learned from it. No regrets at all in terms of what we've done.
So I'm curious, walk me through your day-to-day now, right? Well, what does that look like as an owner of a franchise? Because you are a master franchisor or a franchise developer, correct?
Yeah, yes.
So you don't actually own and operate all 11 of
Correct.
them. And if anybody out there listening, if you like this franchise, he can sell you one and help you operate it, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So walk me through what your day-to-day is.
So and it's a great question, Joe, because every day is different.
Yeah.
There are days when I'm in the clinics, just kind of watching the flow of the business, having interactions with our clinical team, with our administrative team. There are days when I'm meeting with physician groups. I typically bring a clinician along with me to answer the technical aspects of it.
It sounds like you're getting up on that, though.
I'm getting better at it. But I am the first to admit, though, when I'm talking to a healthcare provider, I am not you. So.
Right.
But so it's a mix of creating long-term partnerships with provider groups, understanding what's going on, in our clinics, working with the rest of the Charlotte ownership group to identify, barriers to growth, creating strategies that we can implement, throughout the Charlotte market.
Do you have operators that own more than one?
We have one that owns. We own four.
Do you find that multiple owners are any better successful than a single operator? And I say that because this is not a Subway. It requires some knowledge and understanding.
Yeah, it's you can't advertise a $5.99 foot long and expect people to come in the door. It's not that kind of business. Now I do think that an owner who has a physical therapy background has a little bit of a leg up because they've established more than likely a reputation with provider groups.
Are you finding that
area.
there's therapists that want to buy a franchise?
Yeah. And then there's a lot that, physical therapy owners who they just want to treat patients. And and that's great. They don't want to run the business side of it. So
or they know your systems and processes. I tell people this all the time. You're going to find that in that fine book that you've got there.
Yes.
The reason to buy a franchise is, honestly, if it's going to give you a 15% increase in revenue, you're better off to be in the franchise.
Yeah.
So even if a therapist knows what they're doing and has revenue, if the franchise gives them a 15% bump, you're better off being in a franchise.
Yeah, and I'm a brand guy. I spent 20 years working for the Coca-Cola company. Probably one of the, if not the most premier brand on the globe.
Yeah.
So I've always been I've always understood the value of a brand.
Right.
And, physical is elevating its brand every day of the week. So
What made you and your partner choose this franchise back when you did? What was it? I think it's why you and I kind of connected, right? I think you made a wonderful choice. But what made you choose that?
Yeah, it's number one, we wanted to do something that helped people. And then I think anytime you look at a business, you've got to have a differentiator to set yourself apart from your competition. And the balance and vestibular piece and the changes in the demographics of this country, it was a perfect fit. And,
okay.
Yeah.
So I asked the Terminator to give me some questions for you. And here's one that he asked that you just kind of stepped right into. How does your clinic's tailor care plan meet each patient's unique needs? Because you don't have a one-size-fits-all approach.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Yeah. In fact, our model is individualized one-on-one care, especially with balance and vestibular patients. When you're an ortho-focused physical therapy clinic, you can see 2 or 3 patients at the same time. You can kind of bounce back and forth. And, based on, payer standards and things of that nature, you have the flexibility to do that. We don't do that. So we understand, we dig into the causals of what's taken place. We create an individualized plan of care based on those causals, and then we execute it. 8, 10, 12 visits, whatever the number is, until the patient is free of those symptoms.
When I read one-on-one, you just say that's what we do. I mean, that's it, period.
Yeah.
So is there a difference between, say, Charlotte market and Greenville market? Are there differences as you're operating those? Doctors different, patients different?
It's funny, we anticipated that there would be significant differences in the medical community, significant difference in the patient population, but there's really not. Now I will tell you that, we here in Charlotte, we work with Novant and Atrium and Duke Health. We have some more success with others. We have found in Greenville, South Carolina, that the large healthcare groups are a little bit more amenable to referring outside of their ecosystem,
right,
so to speak. So, but we do a lot of work with Atrium and Novant here in the Charlotte area too. So,
and as you grow, you're going to become more and more mainstay.
Absolutely,
for people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, how do you do recruiting, or how do you recommend to your franchisees to do recruiting for therapy? Because I assume that's an important piece of what you do, and then the training of them is also important.
Yeah, it's huge. So, physical therapy is an underserved profession right now. We lost a bunch of clinicians during COVID, and we're just now kind of recouping the numbers of folks coming out of school with a doctor of physical therapy license or degree, I should say. And we focus on great place to work, individualized care focus, balance and vestibular health, which is much different than the orthopedic model. And one really, really good thing that the corporation has done is they created an internal talent acquisition group that helps us a lot.
Scott, thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate it.
Appreciate it as well.
Listen, I still got another 20 questions I got to get you back again.
Sounds good.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. You're talking to Scott Thayer. Why are you pushing me like that, man? You're pushing me. I say you're pushing me, man. You're pushing me. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll see you next week.
Into our